welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, the channel admin, and today I've got Mabsy with me for a brief initial reaction to the very, including that Everton apparently are set to be taken over by 777 partners. Mabsy, your initial reaction, please.
One of uncertainty, as I say, is it's hard, isn't it? Because from what I've heard isn't great about the way that they asset strip, and basically I think it's the Belgian side, Anderlecht. They've put all the players up for sale because they are Liège, sorry, yeah. So they're not the greatest. Is it a case of jumping into the fry pan into the fire? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. I think Moshiri just wants out, and he doesn't care who he sells to.
Well, he was trying to get his £500 million initial for his equity. Not outstanding that he lent the club money. There's loads of shareholders loans, so he's never actually given money that's been written off. He's loaned the club loads of money. He obviously paid a fortune for his equity, so he's made no return on it, and of course, poor performance on the pitch. So 777 partners would have to, you'd imagine, pay several £100 million first of all to buy his shares. Well, I assume it's dropped from the 500 million because no one was going to pay that with the amount of debt that the club's got and the stadium bill still to pay. So you'd imagine it's probably at least a few $100 million, and then you've got all the state debts and there's a lot. Loan 100 million has come out. 40 of that went to pay off debt to Andy Bell. There's massive financial black holes that need filling up, and it's a little bit of a worry. Also, Mabsy, is worth noting they own Standard Liège. I think they own a couple of other clubs as well.
Yeah, I think a Brazilian club. I think I'm just looking at the website. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make good reading. I think the Brazilian team went down. I think had the worst start under them. You've got to laugh or you're gonna cry.
Bloody hopeless.
It is, but at the end of the day, it's hard, isn't it? Because we want Moshiri to fuck off. We want Ken Wright to go. Well, we do. Come on, let's not beat around the bush. And there's people out there saying just sell. And then you get the likes of 7 partners coming in and potentially offering. I mean, as I said, I mean, there are rumours going around. As I say, whether or not it is substantive, there's a lot of mixed comments. Hertha Berlin, Seville. Yeah. So there's a lot of mixed reactions to it, and people don't sell to him. Well, then you I don't want someone with a footballing interest. Well, at the end of the day, there's no one else. So we either sell to 777 partners, or we have to stick with Moshiri and Bill at the helm.
How can there be no one else? I mean, this is what I don't understand. I mean, you'd look at somebody like the people who are looking at buying Manchester United. We're a fraction of the cost. Yes, we haven't got the prestige, but in time with the stadium, the problem is, Mabsy, with that, of course, we're asking why no one else. But buying a football club generally is a vanity project, and you would say buying Everton right now would not be a vanity project.
We're a basketball head case. Simple as I think it's uncertainty. Even where a few games into the season and haven't won a game, only drawn one, lost the rest, and we're not as attractive proposition as I love. Obviously, we all think that. Oh, where have you gone? Oh, we all think that how do I say it? We all think that Everton's the best club, and we all want the best. So understandably, yes, we do. But these people don't see it like that. You've got to realise is that the multimillionaire is disconnected from reality. Well, it's billionaires, rather, disconnected from reality, and the truth being is that we're a business.
But what I've heard is that these 7-7 partners, guys, they don't actually have any money themselves. They leverage and borrow and
Yeah, but
invest.
that's most football, unless you're sovereign wealth funds, all led by consortiums, aren't they, now these days? It's all borrowed on markets. I mean, if you look at this, it's a standard business practice. Everything is, white knight investors coming in, clubbing together to buy a club, and one day potentially make a killing, and that's the cold hard facts of the case. We're a business. I think we've got to all we as fans obviously don't see it that way, but we are, and it's horrible to think. You know what I mean? That sounds bad. I know it's bad, but you know what I'm saying.
Mavsy, I don't know a lot about the 7-7 partners, but I believe obviously they own these lots of football clubs that are all struggling. The allegations of fraud, there's court cases in America. One of the partners was a drug trafficker at one point. It doesn't sound very appealing.
It doesn't. And at the end of the day, this has all got to be ratified by the Premier League and the fit and proper persons test. It's not. I don't think it's a done deal. I mean, if these allegations are true, I don't know. Surely the Premier League would say, well, they're not a fit and proper person. I mean, they did it with Saudi, and then the government put the pressure on eventually, and with Newcastle. Sorry, obviously we set the Saudi owners of Newcastle, and it didn't pass it, and then suddenly the government steps in, and it's complete.
Yeah.
So
someone's passed a few quid in.
What do you mean?
To get that Newcastle.
Yeah, to get it over the line, probably. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think this is a done deal 100% at this present moment in time. And I don't know where these rumours are coming from, because there's a lot of people on Twitter saying that they can't afford to buy us. But, they must have some financial clout to even enter talks, surely. Or have raised the funds from somewhere.
I'm reading that an agreement is close, but it's going to take weeks to go through, and of course, it's got to go through that ownership thing.
Yeah.
Would you keep Bill and Moshiri now for another 12 months?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because it's just going to get even more toxic.
You'd rather sell to these fraudulent.
No, I didn't say that though. To their own.
Well, if that's the only option they're giving you,
it's a tough option, because it's basically either one's shocking.
Would you rather chop your left ball off or your right ball?
Yeah, quite exactly. This is the thing. It's like, do you deal with the devil, or what? What do you do? Because we've got to, and everyone's got to also realize this isn't it's our club. It is our club, but we don't get any say in the matter. And these are people that, I think the comment they're standing the age of I think last night it wasn't it? They're protesting against them. But again, these people are fixed in, like we see with Moshiri, just plough on, regardless of what we want as fans. And you know what I'm saying?
Mark is in the comments watching from Bulgaria. Wormy says they're the 666 partners. John says, who are the Asians who were looking at us?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know any Asians about. I don't know if there is. I've only heard that 777. Well, not heard about Asians.
The only Asians looking at us working the hot walk. Evening to Rich, show Peter Duggan in there as well. And Kadeem, a few others. They probably won't last long. 7-7 partners. There's no credibility in the allegations that they're going to be behind bars, fraud, and extortion.
Well, this is it. This is what I'm saying. If this is true, and I've heard it from a few sources, how are they going to pass a fit and proper test? How?
Exactly. So it's
You
someone
know,
who does,
you can't.
or maybe
It,
so.
pie
Have
in
they
the
actually
sky,
tried
is
any
it?
of this stuff?
What?
Have they actually been convicted of any of this?
No, I think I'm not. Again, not. I'm not sure. I've heard. Obviously, it's a speculation, and obviously being accused, and we all know what being accused and actually being found guilty are two different things.
Next, you'll be
Um,
telling us there's another contender in the race. They're murderers, rapists, and racists.
no.
There's no depths that we won't stoop to as it is down. Like,
But yeah, but I think wasn't it the deal with the other MSP was that there was an issue with the media rights holding company that obviously finances. There's a finance. I think they stuck the roar, and that's why the MSP deal collapsed. So again, are they just not going to stuck the roar in again and block a sale if it's not right for them? Because
must be assumed that
unfortunately, we're mortgage and debt up to the hilt, aren't we?
must be assumed that we're paying off that money then.
I just yeah,
Right
but
to
if
me.
they're coming from investors, are we actually an attractive thing to buy? I don't know.
10% of our 10% of our turnover goes to that Rights and Media Funding Limited.
Yeah,
We pay about 10 million a year in interest.
I mean, as I say, it's
We're
absolutely
not an
nuts what they do.
attractive. They're
No,
going to
we're not.
complete the stadium and then flip it probably.
Well, that's probably the idea, but if you're still saddled with debt, is I can see what could happen, and I don't want it to.
Peter said that Usmanov apparently is a convicted rapist. I didn't know that.
He's a convicted rapist. I didn't know that at all.
Surely not.
You would have to, if that's true, you'd have to cry. You'd have to laugh or cry. You can't. Yeah. I don't. As I say, it's out of the frying pan into the fire, isn't it? Surely. But then if he's convicted, then he won't be able to pass the test to buy us. Surely the Premier League won't ratify it. You'd hope.
Yeah, but there's a few of them. There's a few in the partners, isn't there? Is there 777 of them?
all the employees are partners or owners. It's like a cooperative. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently so.
I don't have a clue, mate. I'm one of those people with the takeover stuff. I'm not reading it till the pen's dry.
Yeah, but then it's going to be too late, isn't it?
Well, no, I've read it now. Serious, but
it is just you want someone decent enough to come in and wholesome. But unfortunately, I think when you look at football and when you look at owners, they're not nice people. They're billionaires, and that's how they made their money. They've been ruthless. And I'm not condoning violence. I don't want anything to do with us.
apparently,
So
all these other clubs that they own have got financial problems.
Yeah, well, ours is well documented. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of say, well, there's uncertainty over this investigation. But I mean, everyone's going overboard about this FFP. It's not to do with FFP. It's quite literally a tax funding issue, actual problem, and it's a minor thing. It's in comparison to what City are being charged. They're not going to relegate us. It's not going to happen. It'd be a slap on the wrist and a fine.
Agreed. Could these people come in, move the stadium to their own company, sell off all the players and pocket the money, like Onana 60 million?
Bankrupt. I mean, it's possible because this Rights and Finance deal is essentially what that is. It's basically invoice and finance, isn't it? So they know, obviously, it's just, for example, if you sell a player and it's fed on the drip, what they will do is say, well, we're guaranteed to get this. I'm just looking figures up in the air. You get this 50 million. Yeah. Well, they'll say, well, we'll give, so you can get, say, 35 million, right? Yeah. But then we take all the rest of the money. So we'll give you 40 million straight up. It's like Wonga, isn't it? That's exactly what these basically mortgaging players.
That rights and media funding one is a shocker, and apparently it's 15 million operating costs a month, 15 million income a month, and we've stripped loads of players out. We're not going to be able to spend any money, and got the stadium complete. And mate, it's an absolute nightmare. Mab, did you keep the stand for your iPad, or are you on your phone today?
No, I'm in the hotel, so I'm in my iPad. But obviously,
I thought it was a different background.
Yeah.
Were you staying? Could you close this general area or
just Manchester? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, one more run, and then I'm back. The hotels are stopped, and I'm back at home. So
Roy is saying we're still an attractive investment, 20% price of Man United. Great stadium history. Don't panic. But someone's got to pay for that stadium, Roy, and it's several hundred million. And then you've got to buy the shares, pay off the debt, and actually invest in the squad. It could be like
and again,
£1 billion. You got that, Roy?
Yeah. And also, isn't it rumours that basically they can't actually fund the inside of the stadium yet? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
We sell the stadium to the council, lease it back.
Well, but this is the thing, isn't it, Ryan? What happens is that the worst possible thing that could potentially happen is 777 partners sell the stadium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could buy it, sell the stadium, pocket money, and say every player.
Yeah, totally. And then at the end of the day, you could that's potential. And also, don't forget, then they can mortgage the season ticket revenue.
Good.
Yeah, it's not. But surely that you think Everton have
7 use their other clubs as feeder clubs for us.
Well, Man City did it, didn't they? Yeah, Man City do it. It's potential, but then it could be used the other way around, Ryan. We could be feeding the other clubs.
The Blue Bull Group.
It's just
Blue Bull. Where
I get, you know what I mean? We're waiting for someone to. We're waiting for Moshiri to. We're waiting for Moshiri to go. You know, we protested to sell up. You know, and sell to the right sell, and now we're in a position where potentially this could happen, and we don't want it. It's a nuts situation. It's an absolute crazy situation.
Westy is saying there's an Asian company that's interested who wants to remain anonymous. I mean, would you sell to Qatar or one of them, Mabs?
Well, yeah, of course, you sell to what sovereign wealth fund. You'd have to. At the end of the day, I think with football, morals have to go to a degree. Morals go out. You know, at the end of the day, look at Newcastle. They sold the souls to the devil too. But you know, look how they're doing.
It does tarnish it slightly, doesn't it? When you know you're owned by these sorts of people. Disgusting.
Yeah, but they seem to. So the fans seem just skip past and ignore it.
Sports washing, isn't it? That's what it is.
Of course it is. Absolutely. And you know, you've got likes of players, you know, moving to the Arab leagues and, you know, taking the money and then saying it's not about money when it is. You know, your morals with rainbow laces saying, well, I wouldn't rule myself out of it, but I'm not going to do it. I mean, they're quite literally, you know, I don't want to offend my host country. Well, you know what? It's virtue signal at its finest, isn't it?
The problem is, if I offered you 10 million quid, Mabsy, said, will you go and do something?
Yeah, okay, of course. I don't know, but, you know, at the end of the day, I think it's A, about your moral compass, and B, these players have more than enough money to last them a lifetime anyway. Don't they? Do they not?
Yeah, they're super, super greedy.
But, you know, well, we all know we was getting on about, to be honest. Oh, was that better, actually? Yeah, that's better, isn't it?
Forever. Seven can never take it, but we don't have to be international break. Eugene. Westy saying whoever buys us, I want us to run us properly with a clear play.
Of course we do, Westy, and that's it. Again, this is the whole argument is because we care passionately about this club, and you know we'll be here long since they've gone.
We thought He with Andy Bell and these Stuart Downing people and all these sorts of, not Stuart Downing, of course he was a footballer in Middlesbrough. All these sorts of like prominent Evertonian businessmen, and we've ended up with the 707 partners, fraudulent, dodgy, whole thing's laughable.
The whole thing stinks. The whole thing absolutely stinks. And you know what? I thought this day would come and I'd be, really excited. We're finally getting rid of Kenwright and Moshiri and his gang of merry men.
Do they leak it so like get desperate, and then when inevitably it doesn't happen, we're happy with what we've got? Like we do that.
It could be, or it could be a ploy, to make other bidders interested. Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
Someone must have.
And it could be. You know what? That sounds like that would be what you just said there. That's quietly out of Bill Kenwright's left bloody locker, isn't it?
Oh, he's in hospital.
Remember, we had good times.
I don't think Bill Kenwright.
We've had good times.
I'm honest with you. He's got 1% in the club, hasn't he? This is all on fart hole.
Yeah, but it is on far, but he is still the chairman. He's still staying on, and so he must be compensated to some degree. Otherwise, why keep him? Good times, yeah.
If you were like living in a different country to England, and you were like in the middle of nowhere, let's say you were in, I don't know, Brazil, and you had a business and it was going tits up, and you could get some money back and just go home to England, and no one would really batter an eyelid when you were back home, would you do it? That's kind of what he's doing. He's just like,
he just wants to get out. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what. Obviously, he's put this club into a right state. It's fully aware. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's just looking for a way out, an exit strategy, and he won't care who he sells it to.
He's put all the money in, but it's all been loans. He needs to write those loans off. So he's pissed it down the drain by not getting the right professional to run his business.
He has pissed it down the drain, but is this just not now about working capital, with the Eastern North connection?
If you buy a restaurant,
USM.
You don't put house in the kitchen.
What, sorry?
If you buy a restaurant, you don't put front of house in the kitchen and the chef at front of house.
No, he's absolutely
year-olds.
You think what you really think what they've done, how they got experience running the club at Arsenal or investing in Arsenal or whatever. It seemed really rosy at the time, didn't it? I mean,
do you think he's the puppet then? Oh.
What? Sorry. Do
you think he's the puppet for Usmanov?
Yeah, it's got to be Annie. Let's be. Well, come on, Moshiri's accountant who basically was loaning them money to buy the shares. Then sold the shares to buy Everton. This British Iranian, is he? Yeah, probably is. And now obviously the sanctions are biting. Long after this Ukraine war will go on, and they will still be a sanctioned country. They do need to get out. To some degree. To some degree, you look at Chelsea. Yeah, they struggled when they got completely and utterly sanctioned, and couldn't sell tickets or anything. But the government forced the hand to sell. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because the fans get punished for something that's nothing to do with them. When Moshiri and it becomes a shareholder's loan. That becomes a debt that goes negatively on the FFP and all the books, does it? But if he just put money in, like money to the business to spend on whatever it needed, is that not allowed?
No, because it isn't. Because you look at it's about match revenues. It's about it, because otherwise, what would happen is you get the Saudis and the Qatarians. They just it'd be financial doping, wouldn't it? You see the way that City tried to get round it by having Etihad as a sponsor and all these of our own companies.
You can't,
you can't just stick 100 million. It's like we were doing. Let's be honest. He wants to know about USM Finch Farm. You know, that was perfect financial doping by Usmanov, sponsoring Megaphone. Remember that in the stadium for all around.
It's annoying though that it did all go to, because I think we were going to do good.
When?
Babsy, just didn't. I think we would have been.
When would you think you've been good? We've been shit for years.
No, but
and
absorb the losses if we'd have had the USM and all that still.
And then would have been spent right. Like it always just gets pissed down the drain, and then you look at these dickheads across the park, and they're finding these players, and like, how the fuck are they doing it? So I want to know.
I think we identify the players, but we can't. We've got no money. We spent $3 million in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, the net spend, wasn't it?
No. Yeah, net spend $3 million.
Yeah.
This was just a very brief, casual, informal reaction. And Thursday's a match preview for Everton versus Arsenal. Mabs, is anything else on your mind?
There's a lot of stuff on my mind, mate.
Apparently, in a
what?
in a behind closed doors friendly today.
Yeah, but again, you cannot take anything away from that game. Come on. It was full of youngsters. I mean, Blackpool probably felt a full strength team against youngsters. Few fringe players probably played that on international duty. Again, it's probably more for fitness than actual meaningful thing. I hope Don. You know what I'm saying, don't you?
I reckon Calvert-Lewin played.
Probably injured now. Probably being. I'll guarantee we'll have news tomorrow that he's like fucking broken his leg or something. Guarantee it.
He couldn't score a free fruit bag from McDonald's in there.
Oh, it's just. I think you got to laugh while you're crying. It's just how better. I mean, from what we've seen of him.
Sitcom.
What?
I'm laughing because it is like a big sitcom.
You know what? You remember when like something went down and they did this big thing for Amazon and you just laughed at how they were run. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, and they tried to change the walkout song and all that sort
of
stuff.
And what was it as well that Rodwell they tried to get rid of Rodwell, but he was just when they got relegated, he just refused to go. And you're just laughing, thinking, "Wow, what a shit show! I'm glad my club's not run like that."
But it is all the insight, isn't it? It's the Tottenham one.
It is, but if you think about it, come on, they'll probably run better than we are now.
They'd never let us in. Could you imagine? But could you imagine what it'd be like to support like a Doncaster Rovers and just week in, week out? Oh, let's go see Doncaster Rovers. It's a good game. And then just go home and, 1-1, 2-0.
But to be fair, though, Donny have a decent little ground. I was quite impressed at it, actually. I was really, bottom of the Football League. They had a really cracking ground, considering. Yeah, just hope. What?
Are you going on Sunday?
Yes. It's my first home game of this season. It's like, wow, because I've been busy with work and life. But as I say, my life becomes less chaotic as of 1st of October. So I'm quite happy with that.
That's good. I've got 4 tickets for sale.
Jesus.
David.
You're not going there, no.
Mrs. and then Mum.
Nightmare. You know what? It was just started off so hopeful, didn't it? You know, 3 games into the season, you're just like, nah.
No, I'm good now. Beto and DC are gonna. Black Beto is.
Yeah, Beto's boss, but can you rely on DCL? Can you really rely on DCL? That is the question.
Yeah, but I'd have Beto like dropping in, holding the ball, playing off him. The ball sticks to him like Pritt Stick. And Pritt Stick's not that good, maybe.
Super glue.
Yeah, even that can fall apart. Like a
Gorilla glue.
Gorilla Glue.
No more nails. There's lots of brands of glues about.
Yeah, I've got 4 spares, mate. want to buy one.
Yeah, it'll be fine. They'll go because we're just. I think us Blues are just fanatics, and we love Everton so much.
I hate
They just they don't give us anything in return, but we still persist on following them. We're nuts. We're all little weirdos. I am convinced we are a social experiment to see how far you can push one fan base before we all just lose it. I don't think we're starting to, because you look on Twitter, the amount of feuding that's going on there, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's school guard, it's school ground.
There's too many more on social media.
It's
anyway.
school ground. It's just school ground politics. It's pathetic. Everyone needs to take a chill. And the fume, everything that gets announced, there's a fume about it. We're never happy. No one's happy. I don't want him. Well, we need players, but I don't want him. I don't know what the solution is, but I don't want him. You know what I mean? It is like that, though, isn't it?
It'll come good again. It'll come good.
Maybe in 10 years.
I've got £55 one in the Park End adult ticket. I've got a £30 one in the top balcony. I've got 3 of them.
The Park End tickets, boss. Good seats.
But yeah, play the ball into Beto, play off him, get it wide to McNeil and Dan Juma on the other side, and whip the ball in, and Calvert-Lewin and Dan Juma at the back post, up them in. Be brilliant.
Kevin Crafter's legend.
Yeah. That's it. Right, let's wrap things up.
Yes.
We'll be back when there's something interesting to talk about.
Hopefully it's not actually a completion to the 777 deal. I couldn't handle that.
No, it'll be the preview on Thursday. I'll be back in the studio for that.
Sound.
Studio.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mads. See you Sunday.
See you Sunday, mate.